Adverse effect. Example 1. The medication was found to have no adverse effect on long-term health. Example 2. Lack of sleep can have an adverse effect on concentration during exams.
Adverse reaction. Example 1. Some participants experienced an adverse reaction to the new treatment. Example 2. Researchers must report any adverse reactions observed during the trial.
Adversely affect example 1. Poor time management can adversely affect academic performance. Example 2. High stress levels may adversely affect your ability to focus.
Affect the outcome. Example 1. Personal bias can sometimes affect the outcome of a group discussion. Example 2. The choice of method can affect the outcome of the research study.
Affect the development. Example 1. Lack of funding may affect the development of new university programs. Example 2. Technology can affect the development of language in young children.
Allocate resources. Example 1. The university needs to allocate resources carefully during budget planning. Example 2. The group leader allocated resources based on each member's strengths.
Allow access. Example 1. Students need a password to allow access to the online course materials. Example 2. Only registered users are allowed access to the research database.
Almost identical example. 1. The two essays were almost identical, raising concerns about plagiarism. Example 2. The results from the two experiments were almost identical.
Alternative approach. Example 1. The researcher suggested an alternative approach to studying the data. Example 2. When the first method failed, they tried an alternative approach.
Alternative explanation. Example 1. The study provided an alternative explanation that challenged previous research. Example 2. The professor offered an alternative explanation for the theory's failure.
Alternative form. Example 1. Students can submit the assignment in an alternative form, such as a video or podcast. Example 2. The test was offered in an alternative form for students with special needs.
Alternative interpretation. Example 1. The professor encouraged students to consider an alternative interpretation of the results. Example 2. Critics offered an alternative interpretation of the historical data presented in the study.
Alternative means example. 1. The researcher found alternative means to collect data when the initial plan failed. Example 2. Some students use alternative means like online forums to study for exams.
Alternative method. Example 1. The lab assistant suggested an alternative method for testing the samples. Example 2. When the experiment didn't work, the group used an alternative method.
Alternative model. Example 1. The study compares the traditional model with an alternative model based on recent data. Example 2. The lecturer introduced an alternative model to explain consumer behavior.
Alternative solution. Example 1. If the original plan fails, we need to find an alternative solution quickly. Example 2. The class discussed alternative solutions to the environmental issue.
Alternative source. Example 1. Students are encouraged to use alternative sources if journal articles are unavailable. Example 2. The researcher used an alternative source after finding errors in the original data.
Alternative strategy. Example 1. When the initial strategy was unsuccessful, an alternative strategy was proposed. Example 2. The team developed an alternative strategy to increase survey participation.
Alternative view. Example 1. Academic writing should include both the main argument and an alternative view. Example 2. The tutor welcomed an alternative view during the debate on globalization.
Alternative way. Example 1. Online learning offers an alternative way to access higher education. Example 2.
The team explored alternative ways to conduct the research remotely.
Ample evidence. Example 1, the essay received a high mark because it included ample evidence from various sources. Example 2, there is ample evidence to support the theory in recent academic literature.
Analytical approach. Example 1. The course teaches students to take an analytical approach to solving problems. Example 2. An analytical approach is useful when evaluating complex arguments.
Analytical tool. Example 1. Students were trained to use analytical tools to interpret statistical data. Example 2. SPSS is a common analytical tool used in social science research.
Anecdotal evidence. Example 1. Anecdotal evidence can be useful, but it should not replace scientific research. Example 2. The article relied too much on anecdotal evidence instead of real data.
Annual conference. Example 1. She presented her research at the annual conference on environmental science. Example 2. The annual conference brings together experts from different countries.